How the hell did I end up here? In a luxury 5-star resort in Antigua without my husband or my baby? Well, it transpires that chronically oversharing my life online has its perks. And once I had acknowledged that I was a bit sad to be leaving my baby for 5 days, I was able to step back and appreciate how cool this opportunity is. I have been invited on a press trip with British Airways Holidays and the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Board to show you everything that this magical part of the world has to offer. We are doing a British Airways Holidays package, which included everything from the flights to the transfers to the hotel. And seeing as it's chronically oversharing that got me here, I thought I would bring you on the travel day. Starting, of course, with the flight. We were flown out premium economy. This is Sarup, and we met on a prior press trip, and it would be safe to say you're going to see a lot of her on this holiday because she is the absolute best. Much cooler and more stylish than me, so you should definitely give her a follow. The flight was around 8 hours long, and it literally flew. As you can probably imagine, most of my travel is done with a baby in tow, which is very special in its own right. But I haven't sat down for 8 consecutive hours in about 2 years. And with service and legroom like that, honestly, I could have just flown out and flown straight back again. I would have been like, wow, what a great trip. But alas, this is only just the start. I did some more of my pretend work before we cracked on with the Virgin Marys. Tomato juice in the sky just hits differently. And it's actually Sarup's birthday today, and the BA team innovated and brought her little birthday cake on flight, which was so cute. And then between dozing and eating and drinking, we were suddenly here. Everyone I spoke to who'd been to Antigua said it was their favourite place on earth, so I am so excited. Getting through security was a breeze, and then before I knew it, we were in the transfer. This is a girls-only trip, so the vibes were high. And after an approximately 20-minute drive, we arrived at Blue Waters, our first hotel of the stay. A 5-star resort nestled away on a private bay. We were greeted with chilled lavender-scented towels, as well as a deliciously herbaceous cold drink. This resort has several freshwater pools, secluded beach coves, and various all-inclusive meal plans. The rooms are beautifully classic, whitewashed and coastal, and each room has a private balcony, which is really the pièce de résistance. Activities include cliff-top sunset Pilates, snorkeling, paddleboards, kayaking, sailing, and more. But to be honest, I was most excited about the mini charcuterie board as I came into my room. If you can lip read, you can guess my mood. What the actual hell did I do to deserve to be here? And there is nothing quite like the crystal clear turquoise waters, accompanied with a crisp bottle of rosé, to realise that 5 days away from the people that you love the most in the whole wide world might not be the worst thing. So after we had checked in and laid down in these beautifully air-conditioned rooms, I thought it was about time that we made use of the private beaches. So I popped on my very apt sailing-themed shirt and went for a beautifully warm swim off the beach. Next up in my hard day's work were cocktails and supper. So I set about refreshing myself after the flight, including a brief freak out when I realised that air apps don't work outside of the UK. So all I can do is ask you very nicely to not judge my hair for this holiday. Used my new duty-free makeup bit and got ready for supper. One thing I will say is that a French pin really comes into its own on a hot holiday. And I finally got to open my very exciting new Demelier bag. A leopard print clutch, perfect for the mum on the run. The evening segued into sunset drinks. The cocktails were all made in front of you and they were delicious. And then supper was a barbecue buffet, say no more. There really was something for everyone, but I got absolutely sucked in by the concept of surf and turf. Lobster, the most succulent and seasoned prawns, deliciously marinated steak, and mini loaded potatoes. We all ate together and continued to get to know each other before the jet lag hit, so it was back to our rooms for some R&R. Follow along to see tomorrow.